Hey guys, so this video is going to be about the anatomy of the wrist. So the wrist is made up of 8 carpal bones. They're arranged in 2 horizontal rows. They all have like multiple names, but I'm just going to call them by the names that I learned in school, which are, I guess it's the most popular names. So I know it's a little bit complicated. The bones of the wrist are very, very small, so it's kind of hard to see, but I'm going to highlight the ones in the proximal row in blue. So this one right here is the scaphoid. Right here is the lunate. Right here is the triquetrum, and then the pisiform kind of overlaps the triquetrum. Okay, and so that's in the proximal row. The ones in the distal row include the trapezium, the trapezoid, the capitate, and then the hamate. And you guys might be wondering, how in the world am I going to remember? I wrote a mnemonic in the top corner that my classmates and I always use to help us remember the different names of the bones, because it's very, very confusing. So, some lovers try positions that they can't handle. So, some lovers try positions, that is for the proximal row, and then that they can't handle is for the distal row. The S is for scaphoid, the L is for lunate, the T is for triquetrum, the P is for pisiform, the T is for trapezium, the other T is for trapezoid, the C is for capitate, and then the H is for hamate. So that's how you can kind of remember the different names. Hopefully that helps. And then you also kind of have to know the different special things about each bone. The scaphoid is, I don't know, I always thought it looked like a peanut. Some people say it's shaped like a cashew. It's named because the people thought it looks like a boat. It is the most frequently fractured bone of all of the 8 different bones in the wrist. Most frequently fractured. And it's also a bad thing for it to be fractured because of, I guess, the way that the blood supply is. If it is fractured, there's like a risk of it blocking, cutting off the circulation to part of it, and there can be the bone can die. So it can be really, really bad. So you really do not want to fracture the scaphoid. Some people say scaphoid. I always say scaphoid. This is the lunate. So this one right here is the lunate. They call it the lunate because it is shaped like a moon. So this one right here is the triquetrum. Supposedly it's shaped like a triangle. And then, let's see here. Right here is the pisiform. It's shaped like a little pea. It's like pea size. It's really cute and small. Sometimes I've actually seen it get dislocated. It's a really weird little bone. So the trapezium, I always think of the trapezium, it's where the thumb is, and I always think the thumb swings from the trapeze. Right here is the trapezoid. So it's shaped sort of like a trapezoid because it's smaller on the anterior surface than on the posterior surface. And if you see what a trapezoid actually looks like, it's kind of like that, I guess. So the anterior of the trapezoid is smaller, and then the posterior part is a little bit bigger. And I guess that's why you can't see my handwriting very well. So I guess that's why they call it the trapezoid. The capitate is right here, and it's the largest and most centrally located bone in the wrist, and it's shaped like a head, and that's why they call it the capitate, I guess. Because kappa, I guess, means head, and so decapitate means cut off your head. So capitate, whatever you want to think about that. And then the hamate is this little bone right here, and I'm very weird. Whenever I think of the hamate, I always think of Thor's hammer for some reason. It's known because there's a hook on the hamate. Now I always think of it as the handle of Thor's hammer. The next video that I'm going to be making is going to be an image evaluation of an x-ray of the wrist. So stay tuned for that.